This is a Big Facts Network exclusive.
The world is waiting on your energy. Grind and shine unapologetically. With that being said, today I'm sitting down with the incredible MiKayla, a.k.a. Big Kayla Evans.
Yeah.
Motivational speaker, social media influencer, entrepreneur. She always got that big energy. What's up, Queen?
All right. What's up? How you feel?
I'm blessed. How you feeling? That's my line. How you feeling? Where your
Look,
mental at?
I'm feeling pretty good. In transition, maneuvering through some things. We both recently experienced losses and whatnot. So just adjusting. It's like you never really the same as you were, but it's like finding your new normal type thing. So.
Oh wow, that's dope. So so your mental is what? Stable. We say stable. Transition. I like that.
In transition, for sure.
I like that. All right, let's get to it. Your journey.
The journey's been a long one. Most people don't know my story, so I guess we can tell it here.
Exactly.
I started off in Wisconsin. My dad died, my real father. He died when I was 3 and a half. He got killed. So we grew up most of our life not really having that influence. My mom was a single mom for a while. My pops, who I'm always talking about, kicking my shit about, he came in my life probably when I was like 10, 9 and a half, getting ready to turn 10. I met him in the Boys and Girls Club. By the grace of God, God just always had his hand in my life for real. Like, I think that's why I am the way that I am. Like, there's not a time that I can go back and look and say, like, I did that by myself. Like, that makes sense that I'm still here and that I'm still as pivotal as I am. Because when I look back home, like, that was probably the main thing I noticed because, like, I had to leave my brother's funeral and whatnot. So when I was talking to everybody, I'm consoling and giving hugs to the people that are there, and they trying to figure out why I am where I'm at. But I finally resonated with it when I came home. Like, I've seen so much that's, like, impossible to the people where I come from. And as much as they try to create possibility with it, I'm probably the only one who ever really retained that state of mind. Like, everything that I put in my atmosphere, I can attain it, and it can be mine, and it is possible.
Facts.
So I think that's my story for real, is that everything, the impossible has always been possible to me, and I didn't understand that light until probably when I had my daughter. And I was like, you know what, I don't want you to ever have unbelief. I don't ever want you to think, that's the one thing I probably admire about my daughter, like, she knows who she is, and I have to give myself a pat on the back for that because I make sure she knows that, and I make sure she's constantly reminded of that. So for me, I think that's a journey I had to kind of evolve to as a woman, like, had to know who I was and not be afraid to just be.
So how long you been in Atlanta?
10 years.
Okay, were you moved straight here from there?
No, so I was in Wisconsin, that's where I was born at. Minnesota, we went there when my youngest brother got sick. So he's been sick since he was like 19 months. We went there for the Mayo Clinic because they have like one of the best children's hospitals. And then from there, I actually graduated high school in Minnesota, and I went to New York. And so I went to school out there for like a year and a half. My roommate ended up coming down here. Her family was into real estate down here, so we was out in Tequila. And when they kind of gave us the lay of the land and stuff, she had made the decision to move down here. And shit, I was like, why not, So I ended up moving down here, and shit, I ain't never left.
Nah. Well, what's some things you learned from different spots? Like first spot, Wisconsin, you said?
Yeah.
Then New York?
Yeah.
And then Georgia?
Yeah, Wisconsin, Minnesota, New York, then Georgia.
Okay, let's break down Wisconsin first. What you learned from there?
Wisconsin is, you get the lay of the land, so it's tons of land, farms, all that type of stuff there. I got the structure of, like, my education there. I definitely say, like, between Wisconsin to Minnesota, they have great education systems, and they have a lot of resources for, like, kids like me. So, like, funny enough, so when my dad was killed, we were in Texas. So, like I said, I was 3 and a half. So I was fixing to start pre-K. But when my dad died, I didn't start till I was, like, 4 and a half. So they tried to put me in a slow class. And so I was in a slow class for probably, like, a year. And I ended up coming out of there, and I was reading at, like, a second, third grade level, even in the slow class. And so then transitioning from there, I got into, like, the gifted and talented programs a lot of times. And so, like, that's kind of how I am, even as well-spoken as I am, honestly. It's just from my educational background. And just be having different, like I said, different programs. Like, I went to college my junior year, and so I was able to kind of, like, step out a little bit into my independence before I actually transitioned to moving out. Minnesota-wise, like, Minnesota is like the single mom state. So the cool thing about our transition from Wisconsin to Minnesota is that Minnesota afforded my mom a lot of opportunities to be able to, like, give us a better chance, you know, versus, like, Wisconsin, like, you know, you get food stamps and all the little basic stuff, but, like, Minnesota, their programs that they have for women, like, is exceptional. So we were able to kind of like get our foot through the door a little bit more too, especially after my brother got sick, and we were able to connect with a caseworker who kind of made it to where like my mom started her own business taking care of my brother. So that kind of helped everything as well. But New York was cool. New York is very fast paced, but it wasn't for me. Like, it don't really got that homey feel for me. Like the type of shit where you be walking, people step on your shoes and just keep walking. That really wasn't for me. Atlanta was like the perfect balance for me of like home and then, you know, the fast-paced nature and opportunity. So if I had to break it down in a nutshell, that's pretty much what it would be.
Atlanta. So you feel
Yeah.
like Georgia was the place, and it's the place for you.
Facts.
Would you ever
Facts.
move?
Yeah, no, for sure.
Would you ever move from here?
Yeah.
Where?
I see myself as like West Coast for real. I think that's more my speed.
What you mean?
Like the vibe, like I like the vibe of the West Coast. I don't know if it would necessarily be in California, but I've thought about places like Phoenix, you know, Las Vegas, places like that. But probably not Las Vegas, honestly, more like Salt Lake City or something, you know. But it's not a definite thing. I wouldn't be opposed to being in Atlanta forever, but I definitely feel like I'm supposed to transition at some point.
What inspired you to want to be like a speaker, like motivational speaker, like to help people? What inspired you to do that?
My grandpa dying. I honestly used to like hate my voice, for real. I used to think it sounded like a little kid, so I never really wanted to talk. Like, when people would take videos of me saying stuff, like, and replay it back, like, I just never wanted to hear it. And then when my grandfather passed in 2019, it was like, I don't know, God just kind of took me down this journey of, like, self-discovery a little bit to better get acclimated to who Kayla was. And so one day, you know, I was just watching videos and stuff, reading, and then it was like God just spoke to me like, man, you got to start. Because I was thinking of things that I would want to say as I was watching videos on social media, but I really didn't like put two and two together. I could be one of those people at that time. And it was like God just kind of spoke to me like, man, just start. So I started doing like little 30-second clips, and I would just talk about things that I was like resonating with while I was grieving my grandpa. And then people just like, the number one comment was like, man, I could listen to you talk all day. And so that perspective changed the way that I feel about myself, because it was validating, number one, to hear other people have a different point of view. Like, damn, people love your voice, but you're really scared to say anything. So it's got to be something to that. But what I learned over the course of the past probably 5-6 years is that sometimes, like, the thing that you're the most insecure about is your greatest attribute.
Facts.
It's your greatest contribution. And
Facts.
when you start going down on the path of really unraveling that, that's when you really get in tune with your greatness.
Facts.
Yeah. So
I agree with that.
that's kind of what sets you apart.
So basically, it's like breaking a barrier, basically. Give us another moment where, you know what I'm saying, where you was doubting yourself and you had to...
Being a mom, really. Like, I used to feel like I did not have that shit under wrap, for real. Like, I could not figure it out. But, and it's a lot of it because, like, so for my daughter's father, right, he's 10 years older than me. And so a lot of times, no disrespect at the time, I feel like his intention was to try to help me be better because he knew the type of childhood that I came from. But instead of just letting me just be, you know, he kind of, like, started to invoke a whole bunch of insecurity, you know. Like, his criticisms and things that he was saying to me, it became more critical than it was beneficial or, like, supportive, you know? And so I think in the time when I started doing my videos and stuff, it kind of helped me develop my self-confidence as well, for me to really see myself differently in all aspects, in every role that I play, as a daughter, as a woman, as a just person overall, or, you know, even as being a mother. And so over time, as I started to develop and, you know, a lot of things, like I said, it was validating. Like, so once I started putting out my energy into the world, people made me realize how big it was, and how essential it was, and how pivotal it was. And so I went from feeling like I was so minuscule to realizing, like, nah, you're really big for real. And, like, even the whole big energy, like, people just started saying when I was doing my videos, they like, Big Kayla, Big Kayla. So it's nothing self-proclaimed. Like, people really gave me that. And so I ran with it. Like, you know what, Big Kayla, big energy. This what we doing. This what we gonna live in. And I ain't never looked back, for real.
Nah, real shit. What's your top advice that you'll give somebody that's struggling, you know what I'm saying, that's struggling with self-doubt and and struggling with their own potential?
Man, just be. And when I say just be, like, that's like a mantra that I'm really taking over in my energy and in my space. Like, you have to just be with your time. You have to just be with your mental. You have to just be with your opportunity. You have to just be with your space. And a lot of times we are trying to either rush the process, control the process, you know what I mean? And instead of just navigating and pivoting with things as they may come. And I think in the experience of loss and transition in relationships, friendships, you know, being away from family, like, I think that that's why I became who I was, is because I really have learned to excel in pivoting. Like, I don't dwell on things for very long. I've learned that a lot of times that does more harm than good. I used to, for sure. But then I realized, like, dang, you're really holding yourself back, staying stuck. It's okay to feel, but feelings are not fact. And they should not be the mantra for how you maneuver. And so I think we should all give ourselves the space and opportunity to feel through a situation, but we don't let that moment define the end. It's not the end all be all.
Facts.
You know?
What I was about to ask you, nah, that's real. Feelings are not facts.
Man, they not.
That's a bar.
Even
Run that
as
back.
I'm grieving, Bank, like, it don't even be feeling like I'm grieving some days. Like, I'm so, I don't know how to say it, but I know how to say it. I'm so at peace. I'm at peace that, like, even though I've lost the access to the physical, for instance, of my brother, like, that is not a defining moment as far as who I will become. That didn't mean that I died with him. You know what I mean? He was just a part of my experience right now. You know, and the things that he taught that we were able to experience, and that, you know, like, even me, for instance, for Big Energy, for the brand, right? My brother wore my shit every day. Bang, I didn't even wear my shit every day. When I went down in his closet after, you know, the funeral and everything, I looked down, I'm like, damn, he's got everything I've ever dropped from the beginning. So it's like, you've overstood my potential before I ever seen myself that way.
Real shit.
And I think that was like one of them things where death give you life, you know? It give you a different perspective, because instead of staying stuck on the thought, like, you know, some people will do this where it's like you feel like, damn, time is running out. It's too short. Like, I don't got enough time. I got to rush this. Instead of staying stuck there, what I realized was that I need to be more particular about my time. I need to value it more, you know?
Yeah, how you stay energized and positive through the tough time? Like, how you keep your big energy?
Man, my kids in prayer, to be honest. When I be getting on there and doing them prayers, man, just knowing even if I just touch one person and being able to hear the stories that people will give me sometimes about just, like, how much they needed it. Like, there's times where I am, you know, I'm human too, so there are times when I do experience, like, mild self-doubt. I did experience kind of an influx of it when he first passed, you know, because I was, like, kind of in shock about everything. But what I realized is, like, even going to events like, you know, the Perspektives live taping, or when I go to the hikes, or, you know, we just been on social media, or I might run in and bump into somebody in the city, or have somebody hit my DM and they're like, man, I really be needing your prayers. It's people who, they've been in jail, man, and they'll tell me, like, man, I was watching your videos to get through that. Like, it was a mom who lost her daughter, man. One time she reached out to me, she's like, man, I watch your videos from top to bottom. It's people who would be like, sometimes when I'm having a rough day, like, I go to the bottom. I'm talking about, I'm not even thinking I'm really doing nothing. They go to the beginning from where I first started, and they can still feel my energy. Like, that speaks volumes for me as a person.
Not real shit. I think that's the whole purpose, is to do something for other people instead of trying to do. You know, we got to be selfish sometimes, do shit for ourselves. But I think the whole purpose that's gonna bring your blessings is to do shit for other people, even when you don't feel like it. You know what I'm saying?
It's balance, though. You know what I mean? That's kind of where I'm at in 2025 too. Is I'm learning that balance. Like, I've been kind of overzealous in the past about, like, doing for everybody else, but self-preservation is just as important. And so it's important, like you said, like, when I'm feeling down, to make sure that I'm doing my prayers. Even for me, like, part of my routine too is my self-care too. Like, I make sure that I go do stuff, like get my nails done, go to my favorite restaurant, like, you know what I mean? Even if it's taking my walk in the morning, whatever, going on the hikes is therapy for me. Like, I make sure that I'm resilient about doing those things, because I know that if I'm no good, I'm no good to nobody. And if God has me ordained to have this purpose and to give this energy, I gotta make sure I preserve it. You know, I gotta fight with everything I got to make sure that gym it stays flawless. And so that's really what I pride myself on too. Like, is making sure that I stay self-preserved. But also, too, like you said, we here to serve. So my goal is not to preserve myself for self. It's to be able to serve and do what I need to do, touch as many lives as possible.
How do you stay away from just the typical shit online and just remain focused on what you're doing? You know what I'm saying? You know how most women that's pretty and, got a
Yeah.
body, they want to go on there and show that. Like, how you remain just in your pocket?
I ain't gonna lie. And when I first got on social media, man, I used to think that was it. You know what I mean? That's the only way you're gonna get people to listen. And then it was like it resonated one day. Like, okay, I have a choice, right? Either I can be seen or I can be heard. And I decided that I wanted to be heard before I was seen. And so when it comes to that, I really just learned, like, man, the type of attention that it brings, the type of men that it would draw to try to date me, and, like, the lack of substance that there was to them, man. Like, I just had to learn to start carrying myself a little bit differently. Like, this shit there for sure, you know what I mean? I'm going to pop out every now and again and show something, but it's not, like, part of my, I got to do this, you know? It's like, if I feel like it, I'm going to do it, you know?
So how you maintain, like, authentic, like, with people to know, like, I believe in her. Like, what you think you put forth for people to believe, like, this shit organic?
Man, I think it just comes from the heart. Like, when I
Yeah.
talk, it's real. Like,
Yeah.
when I pray, there's nothing that's scripted. Like, when I get ready to come and I'm talking to you, I'm not thinking about, up until the moment where you introduce me and you ask me a question, I'm not thinking about it.
Yeah.
I'm letting it happen organically. So it's like, I think it's just pure. And like, when you are a pure person, like, real gonna resonate with the real. And even with the fakest, they still gonna resonate with it. They just might not be prepared to accept it.
So how long you been, like, just like an entrepreneur, like, working for yourself?
Since my grandfather died,
What year?
2019.
Okay. What's the ups and downs to that?
Just learning the market. I think keeping up with trends. I'm such a person that where, like, I can kick back and just be cool with who I'm cool with and kind of stay out the way, touch a few lives on social media, but not go nowhere. And I think that the balance of, like, man, you got to come out, you got to show face, you got to make sure you show up and you're being intentional. If people have events, you make sure that you participate and that you're there and stuff. And so I think that's been kind of one of my struggles, is because when I'm a Cancer, so I like to go in my shell. And so coming out that shell sometimes, especially like when I'm maneuvering through different things, as an individual, like, I've been having to learn to be more intentional because I have a brand that I'm building.
What you think the biggest lesson you learned, like, being, it's all on you? What's the biggest lesson?
Man, recently, for real, when I went down there and I don't know what, how you had those moments in life, man, where, like, something happens and it just make that switch go off, to where you like, man, I've been bullshitting. That's how I felt when I went downstairs and I looked at my brother's stuff. And so I think that right now where I'm at, man, I'm just like, you have to give it your all. Like, you have to believe in shit more than anybody else. And if you don't stand beside it, like, especially be advocating for the fact that everything I'm saying and that I'm doing is pure, that energy of it itself should propel anything that I do. I just ain't been giving all my energy to that.
What you think the key ingredients is to creating a great friendship, relationship, or whatever? What you think?
Honesty, I think that's the first thing, is being able to be honest about where you're at and where you're trying to go with people, not being afraid to advocate for that. There has to be a pureness to the love that's exchanged, Like, I think the things that last are the things that start as real from the beginning, no matter what season a person is in. And then outside of that, man, just belief, for real. Like, I feel like belief can prepare you to get through anything, either whether it's believing in yourself or believing in that other person, and, like, having an understanding.
You more religious or spiritual?
Spiritual.
Yeah.
Spiritual.
So how you think your spirituality influenced your journey?
Man, I'm telling you, just seeing God in situations where it's like, man, I don't have no other explanation. But it's like,
Facts.
you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Where
Somebody doing something.
Man, it's like, and then too, when you learn, like, I can't take credit for this. You know what I mean? Like, I kind of always had that. So it's just like certain situations, I'm telling you, I just be looking, I'm like, that couldn't be nothing but a higher power. Like, I don't know, for me, I call him God. Other people call him different things, but I know it's something. I know it's something. You know what I mean? Like I know it's something.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
you know, and even with like religiousness, man, like that's why even when I pray and stuff, and I know I talk about God, like I'm very open to everyone and who they choose to call, whatever their higher serving power is. I just believe everybody should serve something.
Facts.
You know what I mean?
Me
I
too.
feel like that's the only thing you should be humble to. Hey man, I had a conversation with Bebe man, and he had me look up the definition of humble. I don't know if you've ever done that, man, but he kind of gave me a gem too that I kind of want to share, just about humility. Like I only owe,
Baby,
yeah,
Texas.
yeah.
Okay.
He like I only owe humility to God. He's like, so if somebody tells you to be humble, they telling you not to be as great as you are, and that shit just kind of stuck with me.
That's cold. That nigga Baby that one.
I'm telling you,
That nigga, that's big energy.
yeah, hello.
That nigga,
Hello.
bro, that nigga don't slow down,
Come
but
on,
never.
man.
You see him?
You gotta
know what
do
you talking
something
about?
before two
We
something. I'm
interviewed in
telling you.
Texas, Baby, my boy, Baby.
Yeah, I'm
Man,
telling
that
you. When he
nigga
said that
different.
to me, it made me conceptualize humility in a whole different way. We had a conversation after my brother passed, because I ain't even gonna say that, but we had a conversation about it. He just was telling me, he was like, man, you have to go for it. He was like, you're holding yourself back, you know. And I guess I was saying that to say the gem to give to people, like, man, you only owe humility to your higher power and God, man.
Facts.
When you serving in your life and you operating in your purpose, you shouldn't hold back from nothing.
Fuck 'em.
For nobody, no opinion, no nothing. Honestly, Bank, that's what's held me back. That's why I think even in a lot of, like, that's why you don't see me as being like this viral entity on social media and all that, because I have been holding myself back.
Because of what?
Humility. I've been overplaying my role, being humble to shit I'm not supposed to be humble to.
What Dave would say? Pop it.
Pop it.
Man, you better pop your shit.
Man, you know what's crazy? That was the last conversation we had, man. When we were sitting at the table, right after the Perspektives With Bank, when we did the Perspektives With Bank, that's the last thing he said, man, you have to get around everybody at this table. We are a family. He's like, man, how the hell you big energy? You playing small. Like, you got to go big on everything you do. But I promise you, what he said did not resonate until my brother died. And I went down there and I seen, I'm like, man, Bank, I'm literally no disrespect to nobody and what they're doing, what they're trying to accomplish, but like, I am the one who's making it. And so it's like, it just, at first it was pressure, and then I had to navigate to the other side of that thought and look at it from a different perspective. It was like, nah, like, this really is for you. Like, this is who you are. This is what you're supposed to do. And it's like, how do you expect anybody else to stand behind it if you ain't gonna go for it?
Who been your biggest impact, though? Who been the biggest influence in your life?
Probably my pops. Because he chose me. He didn't have to choose me. Like, you don't have no ties to me or my brother. You didn't have to come in my life or, like, decide that we were the kid. Like, you in a club full of kids at the Boys and Girls Club. Where I was talking to him in the teen lounge when I was 9.5, man. I told him, I said, something about, I just started telling him about my family and everything else. Mind you, at this time, I talk a lot now. I was quiet when I was a kid. Like, I read and wrote. And so when I was talking, he was like, man, what's making you tell me all this? I said, man, I don't know what it is, but something is telling me to trust you. And since then, he's never gone nowhere.
Nah, that's dope.
Never gone nowhere.
Standing on business.
Man, I'm talking about relocated his whole life. He's a year in this year. Came down here. I told him when I was having my son, I said, Pop, I gotta still make it, bro. You know what I mean? Like, I don't have a whole bunch of family supporting, but like, I gotta make sure that these kids get everything they need to get. I don't want to sacrifice nothing when it comes to their life. You know what I mean? But at the same time, like, I know the type of life and the quality of life that I can provide them. Should I just do everything that I'm supposed to do and shit? He still doing business and came down here and ain't left.
What's the balance with like being an entrepreneur and trying to date too?
Let's talk about it. Man, people don't get your vision. And so what I realized is, like, I had to stop seeking a partner and just let one come. Like, whoever gonna fit in, gonna fit in. I think that as a woman, I can be very intimidated, not because I'm aggressive, but because I really break shit down and I understand shit. And so, like, even in y'all previous conversation, you were kind of talking about, like, I'm analyzing you and your desires and your understanding and where you coming from and your background before you even ever had to articulate it to me. So I'm not one of those people where you be like, man, you didn't even think about where I was coming. No, I probably thought about that before I even vocalized my own opinions and feelings and thoughts. You know what I'm saying? I broke that down already. So by the time it come, what my sister told me a long time ago, man, she told me, she was like, man, you like the mirror for people. And I was like, what you mean by that? She's like, man, when people come to you, they see themselves. everybody's not prepared to have that conversation.
Facts.
Everybody's not prepared to stand in their mirror, man. I realized that a long time ago. That's why I make sure I stand there, because I know it's the one uncomfortable thing that a lot of people don't want to do. And I think that that's kind of what sets me apart when it comes to being in different rooms and having different conversations. I'm not afraid of myself. Like, one thing I tell anybody, like even my daughter, like, when you own your shit, can't nobody put that shit at your front doorstep.
Facts.
You can't step in nothing. You gonna avoid it every time. I own it and I threw it away. So now what?
People intimidated by them type of people.
Man, what?
A nigga who you can't expose, like, nigga, I tell them.
I tell them.
You don't give a fuck.
And I think going back to dating, bro, that's where it was like, for me with a man, like, see, a man don't really got to do too much with me. Like, I kind of already got that, and I know how to submit. Like, by nature, I'm just one of those people. And I think that a lot of times, you know what a lot of the conversation would be like, you too good to be true. I ain't perfect by far. Don't get me wrong. I have my little ways, but I only get better with time. I ain't even hit 30 yet. I only get better with time. And see, I overstand that, though. It's a lot of women, I think, and I don't know if it's just Atlanta, it might be worldwide, but like a lot of women don't really know themselves. They're so caught up on these facetious things that they trying to project on social media and shit, mindset, and they don't really have substance. And I don't even think it's just women, though. I think it's men, too. People get so caught up in the facade, you don't really get to know them. Like, when you date me, like, you could be you. I don't give a fuck how you come. You know what I mean? Just be your authentic self, because I would respect a man like that more than I would one that feels like he has to keep up. When, you know, I've met plenty of people where you be like, man, you feel like, you know, you give an opportunity, you go on a date, and you realize, like, man, all this shit you putting on for, man, you going for broke to put on. And you ain't even happy about it. Man, I had my partner come to me probably like a week and a half ago. You know, he's going through some things. You know, I have a lot of, like, therapy conversations with people, and I pride myself on that, like, being somebody people can talk to, you know. And he was just telling me, he's like, man, Kayla, I got all this money. He's like, I got women, I got my kids. He's like, but I'm not happy. And that shit was the realest shit to me, because it's like, all that shit is so temporary. It'd be like, how do you feel about yourself? And so we started breaking down that conversation and realized, like, man, you know what it is? Like, bro, you're not sitting with yourself. You running from a lot of the things that are you know, attributing to your unhappiness, instead of just dealing with the shit. You know, spend some time with yourself for a little bit. Like, you had the money, your bills is paid. You could really kind of lean off of hustling for a little bit. I understand we got to get it and we have to maintain, but like, mental health breaks I feel like they're essential, especially when you purpose, bro.
Facts.
You gotta know when to put yourself on pause, because you would hate to, you know, run into a wall because you just trying to keep your foot on the gas instead of just being accountable. Like, you know what, I'm gonna stop at this rest stop. I ain't gonna crash out. I'm gonna just stop at the rest stop for a second, gas myself up, and get back on the road when the time comes. And I think being comfortable to do that, man, is pivotal too.
Real shit. That real shit. So you saying basically you accept people for who they are.
Facts.
If you can't deal with it, you just don't deal with it. Yeah.
You gotta be honest, because the same way, like, if I come to you, right, we potentially about to date, and you tell me who you are, right, and the things that you have going on, they don't coincide with where it is that I'm trying to go. They're not equal to my path. Like, I owe you the same respect to have that conversation. You know what I mean? You don't have to agree with it. Everybody has the right to their opinion, but, like, who am I to tell you who you are? I ain't got no right to that.
Nah, that's real shit. So do you think when somebody's trying to alter themselves for another person, they being fake?
Yeah.
Me too.
Yeah. Because it's like, you can't find happiness in that. Like, even when I was talking to my partner the other day, he was just telling me about, man, I'm doing this for this person, I'm doing this for this baby mom, I'm doing this for this, and my kids, da-da-da, you know. And granted, you know, we owe it, I feel like the only person you really owe it to overextend yourself for is your children. You know what I mean? Because they didn't ask to be here. We chose to bring them into this world.
Yeah.
But even to your kids, there's a limit. Because I can't be no good to you if I'm no good to myself. Like, this shit is so essential. So when people start trying to shift and change who they are, it adds extra chaos. Because it's already a struggle just to be how we already are. Like,
Real
whoever
shit.
we designated to be. So to try to be something else, and then you got to keep up with it and keep it going, it's like you deviate from spiritually who you are.
Facts.
That's like fighting against God, for real.
Facts.
To be honest.
So that's why a lot of people unhappy too. Cause they not even being them. They scared to be themselves because they scared who gonna leave, who they gonna lose.
Yes.
I don't give a fuck. Go.
Type shit.
Real shit. Cause I've been there. I know how that feel to try to be somebody that I'm not.
Yeah.
Because at the end of the day, no matter what, you're not gonna fool them. Because you trying to be somebody that you're not for another motherfucker, they gonna know you faking them.
Come on.
Because intuition and all that shit is real. So if I'm faking you, I'm just gonna be a fake ass nigga.
And then you're building up that tension within yourself because you know this not really you.
Yes.
So then guess what? Let's say you do all this fake kicking it, right? Then that person leaves anyways. Now you stuck with this facade. So you got to backtrack to whoever the fuck you really are.
That's why I ain't gonna say all women. That's why most women be mad because they will sacrifice their self by being fake. And then when it don't work, they mad because like, nigga, I could have just been a hoe. I ain't had to be faking.
Yep.
You should have just been whatever.
Listen,
and
submission,
I probably would have liked you better.
Come on. Submission is the natural state of a woman. And so if you have to force it, it's probably not for you. Like people
What the hell y'all laughing at, Slim? That's the truth though. It's like you doing all this fake, they be mad as fuck because you be like, I did all that. You did all what? If a motherfucker walk away from you and you was yourself, you don't be mad.
Man, it's so peaceful.
You be mad when a motherfucker, you tried some shit that wasn't you.
Facts.
That shit had you like, mad here like, I could have been.
It's extra effort and energy that go into this shit. Cause I gotta take myself out of what I normally do.
Them facts. It's like, my bad, Kayla. It's like,
no, you good.
I gotta do all this. Like, I'm waking up every day, talking to myself in the mirror. Bruh, be fake. And then that shit don't work. That shit have you mad as fuck.
Then it's like, okay, cool. So I'm not being myself. So I'm constantly having to think outside of my norm. I'm constantly having to pivot like, okay, no, normally I would go left, but I know that this nigga want me to go right, so I'm going to go right.
Yep.
But it's like that in of itself cause chaos in your mind. See, me, what I learned, when I show up as myself, bro, I be so at peace.
Me too.
I don't care who stay, who go. I love y'all, but, you know, I live by this mantra too. Like, every relationship has different reasonings and seasons, right? And so, like, some people, you plant seeds and you're not responsible for watering them or watching them grow. Other times, you plant seeds and you get to water them. But even then, you don't get to see the final product of the seeds that you planted in a person's life. And then there's those long-term relationships. There's those, you know, them ones that you have in your life that's like, man, we for life. This is never going nowhere. Where you get to plant the seed, you get to water it, and then you get to watch it grow. Like, but you have to be able to decipher what's what. And when you can't really do that when you've been something that you're not. Because you're so focused on that, you can't even properly gauge who is who and what is what. So that's another reason why I try to maneuver my best like that too, because it's like, look, I have to stay aware. I think awareness is the key to success. You have to be aware of what you're doing. You have to be aware of who you are. You have to be aware of where you're trying to go. And you have to be aware of the things that are sent down your path to either help you or to teach you something. And so, you know, I just try to stay aware as possible, man. Pay attention to what's going on and pivot as necessary, but make peace with things above anything.
I feel like, I'm gonna stay on that be yourself shit. I feel like, bro, people respect, they wonder why Trump's the president, right? Because he didn't say, that wasn't me, when they said he heard him grab the pussy. Yeah. He didn't say that wasn't me. He was like, shit, that's how niggas talk.
Yeah. Yeah.
When you in locker room, when you around niggas, that's how you talk. Nigga, respect that. Because it is.
Yep.
When you go to trying to fake it and, you know what I'm saying, do that fake shit, people don't respect that, bro. I know I don't.
Let me ask you a question. Are you more mad at the person who oversold and underdelivered who they were? Or are you, like, who do you be upset with in that situation?
I hate a liar. I hate a liar. I hate a motherfucker who think they gotta fake me out when you don't. I know how to adapt to everything.
Come on, man.
That's just like anything. If I was in a relationship with a hoe, I know how to do that, baby. All right.
But just tell me you a hoe, though.
Yeah, you ain't gotta tell me, show me.
You're right. Type shit. Don't. That part.
You ain't gotta tell me, show me, but I pick up good.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? That's cool. I'm cool with that. I'm cool with whatever. I just don't. See, what it is people don't wanna be treated for what they are. No matter what it is. So they knowing if I show who I am, he's gonna adjust how he is.
Yes.
Or whoever, just anybody. Like a nigga will tell a woman a lie because I don't want her to see that I'm some bullshit, and that she gonna see me as some bullshit, and she gonna be some bullshit.
Yep.
Or she gonna start acting different.
Facts.
But you gonna understand, it's somebody out there that love that bullshit.
It's somebody for everybody. And I think that we put too much effort in. And when I say we, I don't mean you and I. I'm just saying as a society, like people put too much into making shit what it's not instead of just accepting it for what it is. Like if I get around you and we kicking it for a little bit and you cool them first 2 weeks and then you start to show me some bullshit, like it's like people be so pertinent on the time invested instead of like the quality of the time. Like you going to give me hell if you some bullshit and I see it and I continue down this path because I feel like I done spent all this time, dating and etc. with you. Like I'm setting myself up for failure, so I can't be mad at nobody but myself. But if I just accept it for what it is and make the decision for myself, to like you gotta know your worth. Like, I'm cool with who I am. I'm cool with who you are. I'm not upset about what you're doing. But, look, I'm making the decision to be like, hey, look, you do that over there, I'm going to do this over here.
The biggest mistake that people make, we all make, is when they say learn how to act. I've been saying that shit forever. Act. It's not an act. Just be. Like you say, just be.
Just be. That's the motto.
Just be. Why the fuck is you acting?
What the B stand for? Big energy.
Yeah, what?
Just be.
Just be.
Just
why the fuck
be.
is you acting? You pulling up acting. No, I don't need to be here if I need to act.
Facts. I want to be in the places and spaces where I can just be. Like, that is my 2025 and so on and so forth. This ain't a yearly thing. It's a revelation itself. Like, I'm better. I'm better when I can just be. Like what I just say, I'm holding myself back. I'm overthinking shit. But when I just be, this shit is magnificent.
Yep. Because you only stress about opinions. And them opinions of others form within you. Yep. And they create doubt. They create anxiety. They create mental illness, all type of shit, bro. When you don't give a fuck, you good.
Man, Scream had told me that his therapist called it automatic negative thoughts, bro. The way that you deviate from having them automatic negative thoughts, bro, is just existing, being absent of worry, being at peace with things as they are, accepting from what they are, and make the necessary changes as you're supposed to. But once again, that all goes back to being able to stand in the mirror. If you can't sit in the mirror with yourself and accepting, like, really starts with you. You can't accept yourself as you are. How do you even think that you can conceptualize to accept anybody else or they bullshit?
We got to stop making assumptions on how the next person feel, too.
Yes.
Even your kids or whoever. Like, you don't know what these people going through. Like, my kids don't call me for a few days. All right, fuck them.
Man.
I love them. I know they love me, but I ain't got to talk to y'all niggas.
Facts. No,
fuck you.
That's so true. When we were going, that this funeral, death, man, that it just bring out a whole different type of energy when it comes to family and stuff. And so, like, I noticed everybody kind of, like, start going at odds. And I know that'd be a kind of a part of grief, too, because, like, sometimes it'd be, like, misappropriated anger and shit. But, man, the number one thing I kept telling my family is, bro, like, just let people be as they are. Like, stop trying to assume what everybody's thinking, what they feeling. Like, I said, it was a couple times, like, my siblings can vouch for it. They call me and tell me, oh, yeah, such and such. Oh, they must have meant, did you ask? Did you have that conversation? I said, you know what? This is something I really, really, really want y'all to, like, resonate with. Ask the question. If you didn't learn nothing from my brother dying, you should know that time is short. And when you can't have them conversations, you're left to assume. So at some point in time, you're going to have nothing but assumptions. So while you can ask the question, ask it.
I ain't asking the question. I ain't assuming. I just don't give a fuck.
That part too.
I'm just gonna be.
One of them is better for me than assuming, because you create a whole narrative in your mind, and you have an anxiousness, worry, anger, whatever the feeling is about it.
You got some people that will write a whole movie about some shit that is false.
Listen, now accountability. I used to be like that. When I got on this path of, like, really understanding myself, I started to realize how much trauma I was causing myself.
Yes.
Because it's like, bro, first of all, you have a great vocabulary. You have a great awareness. You have a great understanding. Why the fuck aren't you asking the question? If you feel some type of way and you're invested in a person, ask the question. Stop creating this whole scenario and, like, now you're getting insecurity. Now you're upset about some shit. But, like, when you go back to it, when you have a conversation, you honestly... 50% of the shit you tell yourself be false, unless you live your life on that mantra of, like, I'm just gonna be. I'm just gonna be real. I'm just gonna be authentic. When you start telling yourself things that people said or what they meant by this, and you ain't right, man, you drive yourself crazy doing that shit for real.
Hello, my name is Black Bank, not Ayana. I can't fix your life.
I can't fix your life. I'm
That
still
part,
working on mine. That's all. Hey,
man.
man, take that to the bank. My name is Bank, not Ayana. I can't fix your life. So people like you just mentioned about family. Like when we have deaths and stuff in our family, I ain't going.
Yeah.
I contribute if I need to contribute, but I ain't going because I don't want to. Bro, we don't align.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
love all my people, but I don't align with y'all because I
Yeah.
know where y'all mindset at because mine was once there.
Yes.
And that shit ain't gonna do nothing but trigger me to start. There's no way for me not to stoop to your level to talk to you.
Yeah. Because you have to, because it's like I can't even create the expectation because you don't even have the mindset I have to come up to speak the way that I'm speaking or think at the level that I'm thinking. Not saying it's better or worse, but you just know what's for you. That shit ain't for me.
I used to try to explain, like, man, my people probably like fuck me for real, cause they know
Yeah.
I'm the nigga be sit on the phone with you 2 hours trying to get you to get it.
This is me. Talk to me.
I ain't getting you to get nothing,
Nothing
no
no
more. I
more.
don't give a damn. You got it, bro. Do that.
See, you a Gemini, so I know you reached that a little bit sooner than me. You know, I'm a Cancer.
I
I be
just
caring
got
about
that.
how people.
I just got it.
But it brings you so much peace.
Yes. Because you ain't gonna never get it. Cause a motherfucker, yeah, and then dry beg for something.
You know, my pop said to me, he like, that's for you. And I be like, you know what, you're right. That understanding is for me. That's why I am me, and y'all are y'all, and that's okay. And we gonna leave it at that because all that, like you said, 2-hour conversation, man, you'll go down the rabbit hole and still not come out with no understanding. So it's like, now my time. I didn't wasted my time trying to explain this scenario.
Nah, I just said this in another interview. It was like once you just say Vince, me and you having a conversation,
Yeah.
right? And I get you to see something. If you lack accountability, you got to make it seem like I manipulated you to see it, because you can't accept it. You can't accept you're wrong. You just got to be like, fuck that. He played with my mind.
Yeah.
How? Either it makes sense or it don't.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? Not saying everybody gonna be right, because it take me some time to, you know what, you right.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Because I'm stuck in my ways too, a lot, because I've been right too many times to think I'm wrong.
Yeah. I think too, like even approaching conversations in like from a lack of the right or wrong thing, because I think that's kind of like a power struggle with people too. When people feel like somebody's got to be right and somebody's got to be wrong. I'm more so on the path now where I'm like, look, I just want to have understanding, and wherever the understanding starts and stops at, it's gonna be driven by the accountability we able to have in this conversation. And if that's not where we headed, like you said, we can cut it short. We don't got to keep going on about some shit. If you don't care to hear it, you don't care to learn about it, I don't care to try to convince you about nothing. You might as well just leave it as that. But if you want to go down this path, let's just have understanding. I want to hear where you coming from, you hear where I'm coming from, but don't expect me to take on your thinking and vice versa.
I know when somebody receiving it, and I know when they not.
Yeah.
No matter what they saying, they could be saying okay, they could be saying yes, they could be saying. I know when you receiving
Body
it.
language, yeah.
And vice versa, and I know when I'm receiving it.
Yeah.
But I don't got no problem saying, bro, I don't want to hear that.
Yeah.
I don't got no problem with telling you that. I don't even want to hear it. I want to be wrong.
Yeah.
If I'm wrong, let me be wrong. Fuck you. I don't want to hear it.
Yep.
I don't have no problem with saying that.
Yeah.
But a lot of people do. They'll take it in and then go tell another motherfucker, like, this nigga tried to convince me of this. Instead of just saying, bro, I don't want to hear that.
I don't want to hear that. Just let it be what it is. But once again, that's when you start to develop a different level of peace, man, with like who you are and how you just be. Like a lot of people, they be so, like you said, stuck on trying to convince people or keep up with the facades or what people want them to be or what they think people want them to be. That, man, they be so lost in that thought process, they can't conceptualize real accountability in conversations. Or just walk away from shit and be like, nah, this is cool. It's cool that you had that perspective. I'm cool with my perspective. You cool with your perspective. And it's still all love. People just like, they be on that right and wrong shit.
Nah, real shit. So back to the dating shit, you say you just waiting till your person come for you.
Yeah, man.
Did you run your person off? Have you had your person ran them off?
No, I don't. No, I can't vouch for everything, but I do believe in timing, and so like everything that's for me, I be driven towards it. You know, I'll be aware of it. But two, it's like if somebody did happen to cross my path that was for me, I probably wasn't ready, so it wouldn't have worked anyway. So where I'm at right now, I feel like I can intentionally date somebody, and I can because I know what I want now. I understand who I am. I understand what I'm willing to do. Because I've gone down a rabbit hole of like, you know, feeling like you have to overcompensate to make other people comfortable in a relationship. And then once I realized in this last situation, even like having my son and just the different things that I had to overcome and let go of, like, I realized I'm like, man, you do all of that, and here I am with this baby, and it still didn't work. So it's pointless. I drove myself crazy for X amount of time just to be right here where I started at. That doesn't make any sense. So now I'm on some like, look, when you come around, you can be who you are, I can be who I am. If it's organic like that, like anybody who I love in my life, like even when I come around y'all, I can just be myself. If it's not that, I don't want it. So that's when I'm gonna know. If I can just be you, I'm talking about silly, intellectual, accountable. We can break some shit down. We can be curious. We can enjoy. Like when I know that, that's when I feel safe. Like you said, you can tell when people understand. Just like you can feel when somebody is for you. You know.
I believe in everything already done happened before. You know what I'm saying? So if I get around a motherfucker and we click,
Yeah.
that means we was friends in the past life.
That's perspective.
But if I get around a motherfucker, you my op. Like, stop trying to force something with your ops. Just because you think you love these people.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like, you could think you love a motherfucker that wasn't with you in your, that wasn't, you know what I'm saying, that's not aligned with you.
Yeah,
facts. You know what I'm saying? It could be, like, I think you can get a family member that wasn't your family member. It's just like I don't know, my mind just be, I'm tripping, Slim. My mind just be going places, bro. Because I feel like at the end of the day, bro, what's for you gonna be for you.
Yes. You feel when something is aligned, man. Like, it's the energy of it. It's
like
the
how they be
energy
saying,
of it.
relationship, that's something you have to fight for. I don't believe that.
Nah. I see, I'm like that too. Like, with relationships, it's something you grow with. So we're gonna constantly be changing. Like, you're not gonna be the same person you are today that you were tomorrow, because life continues to go on, and hopefully you continue. But the foundation of who you are is forever gonna be the same. And so it's like, your foundation is aligned, it aligns. You can't force that.
Yes.
You cannot force that. I'm not fighting with nobody to stay in my life. I'm not fighting to stay in anybody's life. If we're supposed to be around each other in each other's mix, it's gonna play out just like with anything else in my life.
That's how I feel. I feel like even if a person leave your life and they supposed to be in your life,
they gonna come back.
They gonna some kind of way
They
get in your
gonna come
life.
back, yeah.
I just feel like that, bro. Other than that, trying to goddamn play tug of war, that shit don't work.
Yeah. And you know what I realized too, like even in the whole going off of that with like the whole we're fighting for our relationship, a lot of times it'd be because people are so focused on the relationship and they not actually viewing themselves. They're not looking at like, what are they contributing that's causing this? Like, how are they triggering, if it's conflict, you know, if it's lack of understanding. Like, people be so hell-bent, and then you get to the point the finger game where it's like, nah, you did this, and you made me feel this, and you did, instead of everything starts with yourself. Mm-hmm. And that's why I'm going to continue to keep going back to it. You got to look in the mirror.
Nah, for real. I blame myself for anything I ever been through, anything I allow myself to go through. I blame me.
Don't you feel like it gives you more gainful perspective, too, when you go back and analyze yourself first, and then you go and you have a conversation with another person? Because it's like going back to that thing, like I said, when you own your shit. Because now, instead of the conversation being like, hey, Bank, you did this, and you did that, and you did this, now the conversation is, hey, you know what? I took some time to think about this, and I realized that I may have done this. So now that takes their whole defense off.
No, but with some women,
go ahead.
That's what do you call it? What do you call it, John? What do you call it, Court? What do you call it when you take accountability? No, it's hold up, let me get it. Like when you try to come in and say, use I, and I'm the person, I'm the reason. They call it passive aggressive. You know what I'm saying? It's like passive aggressive, like, you know what? You're not the problem, I am.
Yeah.
It's me, the way that I am.
Yeah.
But because the end goal is still gonna be, I can't fuck with you because of how I am.
Yeah.
So they don't want to hear the end goal. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It turns into an issue because it's like, you don't mean that. You really think it's me.
Yeah. But see, that's when it comes down to you gotta know who you dealing with. Like, maybe that goes for other people. But I know when I sit down, I'm saying exactly how I feel. I'm not blaming you for shit. Because I would rather, because guess what? I can't control people. So when I get into the blame game and trying to figure out what you did wrong or how you acted, then I'm going to drive myself crazy because I can't control your response to that. The only person that I control is myself. That's it.
Facts.
I control how I respond to that shit. So look, let me go to the drawing board about. And you're absolutely correct. By the time I get done, I probably don't want to fuck with you no more. It's probably what it is. But I would rather say that and let bygones be bygones than to continue to derive all this negative energy and this negative conflict and shit. And now I'm spending X amount of I'm wasting time.
Facts.
I'm wasting time. Listen, death don't teach you nothing. Time is precious. I want to be a substance every moment that I can, you know. When I'm pivoting, I don't want to be pivoting from a whole bunch of bullshit that could be avoided by me making a decision to just own some shit.
Big facts. All right. Answer a word with a word. You ready?
Mm-hmm.
Empowerment.
Motivation.
Motivational.
Spiritual.
Confidence.
Love.
Energy.
Big.
Positivity.
Understanding.
Breakthrough.
Purpose.
Mindset.
Life.
Transformation.
Growth.
Potential.
Positivity.
Inspiration.
Light.
They get down to a hustle.
Ooh. Grind.
Grind.
Ooh. Tenacity.
Vibes.
Energy.
Glow.
Self-love.
Swagger.
Style.
Drip.
Sauce.
Trust.
Foundation.
Loyalty.
Love.
Intimacy.
Boy, you getting me with these words, boy. Intimacy. Perspective.
Boundaries.
Structure.
Love.
God.
Patience.
Time.
Forgiveness.
Peace.
Sacrifice.
Strength.
Connection.
I don't know about that one. Say connection. And you got me on that one. I don't know.
Think about it.
Shit. Trying to think of words I ain't said already.
Just think of the first word, connection.
Connection. Vibe. Vibe.
Hey, which one of those words stuck out to you the most, though?
Probably love.
Why?
Because it's what I operate off of. That's what big energy is, man. Just love. Whether it be self-love or love for other people, love for God, love for your kids, love for your mother. I think love is a lot of what we be missing. I think that's what a lot of people are absent of that leads them down paths that are not the best. And so love is just a big thing for me. Like every time I do anything, like when you talk about where did the big energy come from, what makes me different, everything I do comes from love. It's pure. I feel like pure, like love in its purest form is the most highest vibration anyone can operate off of. When you do things out of love, man, like you said, when you talked about like somebody's getting something, like you can feel it. People who understand me, and when we're in rooms like this, right, it be love. Like, I know that there's a genuine love. How much in the capacity, how it derives, it can always be different with different types of relationships. But, like, I genuinely love you as a person. I want to see you do great. I want to see you heal from the things that hurt you, and I want to see you propelled to be whoever it is you desire to be. And when you operate in rooms that are on that frequency, man, like, the sky is the limit.
Facts. What's next for the Big Energy brand?
Man, a whole lot of big stuff. I'm telling you, a whole lot of big stuff. 2025 is the year that I will see $1 million off of Big Energy. And I'm not talking about $1 million as in just making it financially, monetarily. I'm talking about subscribers. I'm talking about, followers. I'm talking about people who are a part of the big energy community. Like, that's what this year is. This year is the year that I finished what I started.
Okay, if you had to explain to people, even though you probably already have, but
Yeah.
what big energy is, explain it.
Big energy is so it's two levels to it, right? So we got big energy, the brand. The whole idea of big energy, the brand, and the clothing is that when you wear it, you feel big. You feel good about yourself. Like, big energy in of itself, if I had to describe it as one word, is love. So when you talk about the big energy room is nothing but love and motivation. You come as you are, and you leave even better. And so that is the mantra that I will continue to push into anyone who comes in contact with me, whether it's a prayer, whether it's you putting on something from the brand, or whether you listen to an excerpt from a podcast, man. Like, I just want to do my best to contribute love into people's atmosphere, and that's what big energy is.
I fuck with that. I do book of the week, so I always give people a book of the week, and I picked this one because of you. Is you are a badass. How to stop doubting your greatness and start living an awesome life. So the book is You're a Badass.
You're a badass.
So y'all go get that book. If you ain't read it, you go get it.
I'm definitely about to get it.
It's a good book. I started reading it the other night when I pulled it up, but it's a good book.
I got 25 books on my list this year. I already finished one, but I said I'm gonna go between things that I enjoy reading, like the romantic novels and stuff, and then things that are good for, my mind or developing my business and stuff. So,
what's your favorite book right now that you've been on?
Honestly, I'm reading Eve's memoir right now, where she's kind of telling about her life, and man, I resonate so heavy. But just hearing her story about just how she overcame where she was to become who she is, and she never really limited herself to the perspective of anyone around her. Like, she talks in the beginning couple chapters just about how she knew she always had this light in her. And like me, that I resonated with that so heavy, because like people would be like, where did big energy come from? And like now I know it comes from love, but like in the beginning I didn't know what it was that I was feeling as a kid. Like, when you just feel like you're different. I know that I'm supposed to go here. I know that the things people are telling me aren't possible are really, really possible. And so I just love even hearing that from a woman perspective, like, damn, I consider you to be one of the greats for real. And like hearing her story about how she just continued on with that mindset, like, it's in me.
Yeah.
That's fire to me.
Nah, for sure. We're going to help you get to that M.
For sure.
So make sure these folks know where to follow you.
Man, follow me at Big Kayla Inc., Big Energy, the brand for the clothing and stuff, and Big Energy Room for all the positivity, love, and motivation.
And get what, before we get out of here, I want you to give a prayer to the world.
Woo, come on, let's go. Father God, we come to you as humbly as ever, and we first thank you for this great conversation. We thank you for you letting perspectives grow exponentially, and we pray for the same grace for Big Energy Room. God, I thank you for all the people, places, and things that you put in position to be able to help this happen and for us to be able to spread good word to the world. God, I just ask that you continue to keep us in good health and good spirits. Let any attacks of the enemy be stopped directly in their tracks. And let us continue to pivot in the most positive way, God. We ask that you remain big in everything that it is we're going to do. And we always give you the glory and the honors. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen.
Shay.
Shay.
Hey, make sure y'all like, subscribe, comment to the Big Fat Network. Go tap in with my dog, Kayla, Big Kayla.
Big
Kayla. His
Kayla.
big energy. You put your prayers up every day, right?
Yeah, well, probably about 2 or 3 times a week.
Why? Well, you supposed to do it every day.
Every day, right?
Wake them up one.
Listen, y'all, accountability, looking in the mirror every day. Y'all be looking for them every day now.
Wake them up with it.
Every day,
When you
yeah.
get up, wake them up with it. I don't give a damn. You ain't wash your face yet.
Facts.
Wake them up with
Wake
it.
them up. Wake them up
Wake
and give them the
them up
word.
with it.
Y'all heard it here first.
In the dark.
Daily.
Even you
Big
gotta
Energy
do it in
Room
the
is
dark.
coming. Facts.
Nah, for real. Make sure y'all like, subscribe, come into the Big Fat Network, Perspektives With Bank. We coming every week with hot topics, hot people.
Everything big.
Everything big. Big energy.
Big.